She agreed to the arrangement for practical reasons, not because she believed in fairy tales. When Daniel's company demanded that he attend a month-long cultural exchange in a remote coastal town, where family presence was seen as a sign of trust, he needed a wife he didn't have. The board made it clear, single men were viewed as unstable. Reputation mattered more than truth. Lena was his solution. They had known each other for years, co-workers bound by late nights and shared deadlines, not by affection. When Daniel asked her, awkward and careful, she laughed at first, thinking it was a joke. But when she saw how serious he was, how much was at stake, she listened. "It's temporary," he said. "Just 4 weeks. We'll act married in public. Separate rooms. No complications." Lena needed the money he offered. She also needed a change, something to interrupt the quiet, heavy routine her life had become. Against her better judgment, she said yes. From the moment they arrived, the town embraced them as a couple. Neighbors smiled warmly. Shopkeepers asked how long they had been married. Elderly women nodded approvingly when Daniel placed a gentle hand at Lena's back, guiding her through narrow streets. It was all an act, carefully rehearsed. They had a backstory. 3 years married, no children yet, busy careers. At first, everything felt mechanical. They moved like actors hitting their marks. Lena played the supportive wife perfectly, laughing at the right moments, asking about Daniel's day, listening as he spoke at formal dinners. Daniel returned the favor, attentive and polite, always respectful of boundaries. At night, when the doors were closed, the silence returned. They would exchange brief conversations over tea, then retreat to their separate rooms. Lena told herself that was good, clean, simple, but pretending had a strange way of softening edges. Daniel surprised her with small kindnesses, bringing her favorite fruit without asking, adjusting his schedule so she wouldn't feel alone during long afternoons. He noticed when she was quiet, when the smile she wore for others faded once they were alone. Lena began to see sides of him she never had before. He wasn't just the composed professional she knew from work. He was thoughtful, sometimes unsure, carrying pressure he never talked about. In the evenings, they started sharing stories, about childhoods, about mistakes, about paths they never expected to take. The act became easier. Too easy. One afternoon, the town held a festival near the shore. Music filled the air, and lanterns swayed in the breeze. Couples danced openly, laughter echoing across the sand. A local photographer approached them, insisting on a picture, for memories. "Stand closer," he said cheerfully. "Your husband and wife." Daniel hesitated for a fraction of a second, then placed his arm around Lena's waist. It was nothing dramatic, nothing inappropriate, but it sent an unexpected warmth through her. She leaned in, just enough to sell the lie. The camera clicked. For a moment, neither of them moved. Later that evening, walking back under dim streetlights, the air between them felt different. Not tense, just aware. "This is getting complicated," Lena said softly. Daniel nodded. "We can keep it professional." "We're almost done," she agreed. That was the plan. The next week tested that resolve. At a formal dinner hosted by the town council, Daniel was asked to give a speech. As he spoke, Lena watched him, not as an actor playing a role, but as a man standing under pressure, choosing his words carefully, caring deeply about doing the right thing. When applause filled the room, he looked at her instinctively, as if seeking reassurance. She smiled back, genuine and unplanned. Later, as tradition demanded, the host asked couples to share a symbolic gesture of unity. Nothing dramatic, just a brief kiss, customary, expected. Lena's heart raced. This hadn't been discussed. Daniel leaned closer and whispered, "We don't have to." But everyone was watching. She met his eyes and nodded slightly. "It's fine." The kiss was brief, light, respectful, and yet, it changed everything. It wasn't the act itself, it was the pause afterward. The way neither of them pulled away immediately. The realization that what they felt in that moment wasn't entirely pretend. That night, Lena couldn't sleep. She replayed the moment over and over, frustrated with herself. This was supposed to be simple, temporary. The next morning, she found Daniel already awake, sitting quietly with a cup of coffee. He looked up as she entered. "We need to talk," he said. She sat across from him, bracing herself. "I don't want to cross lines," Daniel continued. "But I can't ignore that things have changed. And I don't want to lie to you." Lena exhaled slowly. "I feel it too. That's what scares me." They agreed on honesty, if nothing else. No promises, no rushing, just truth. The final week passed more slowly than the first 3 combined. Their conversations deepened, but they stayed careful, respectful. The closeness was emotional, not physical. They learned to sit with it, to understand it. When the assignment ended, they packed in silence. On the drive back, the town fading behind them, Lena wondered if everything would return to normal once they crossed that invisible line back into reality. At the airport, Daniel stopped. "We don't have to pretend anymore," he said. "But I don't want to lose what we found either." Lena looked at him, really looked at him, without scripts or expectations. "Then let's start honestly," she said. "No roles, no lies." He smiled, not the practiced one he wore for others, but something quieter, real. This time, when they stood close, there was no audience. No obligation, just 2 people choosing what came next. And that choice felt more powerful than any act they had ever performed.